Hey there, guys. Welcome to another episode of Ladies with Tradies, working the trade, living the life. Beautiful Candice Pennington with me today, one of our esteemed coaches. Really pumped to introduce everybody to Candice. She's been with us for a little while now. She will tell her story. I don't want to steal her thunder. And really pumped because, Candice is a personality that brings a whole heap of like energy as well as like vivaciousness alongside being super, super structured and wanting the process to work really, really well. So it's a pretty cool way that she operates, and I know you guys are going to love her. So welcome, Candice.
Wowza, what an introduction. um, thanks for having me.
Pleasure, treasure. All right. So tell us a bit about you, your background, your role at Ladies with Tradies, your experience with Ladies with Tradies. Hit us up, girlfriend.
Yeah, well, as you said, my name is Candice, and I'm one of the coaches here at Ladies with Tradies, one of the newer additions of coaches. I guess a bit about who I am. I don't know, when people ask me who I am, I'm like, well, I'm a wife and a mum. That's my, that's what I relate everything back to of who I am. I'm married to Murray, who is a tradie, and I have two little kids, Hudson and Eliana, who are the loves of our lives. Hudson is, what's he? He's turning 10 in a couple of weeks, so he's got a birthday coming up. Eliana is 8, so primary school age kiddos. My background, I guess, I don't know, how far back do you want to go? Like childhood or?
No, just where are you from? Where are you from? Where you live? Like what have you where have you worked? All that kind of thing.
Yeah, so where am I from? I'm from a town in northwest Victoria, Mildura, not far from where you are, Kate. My background or career background, I guess I left high school and went off to university and studied medical laboratory science. And I got into, straight out of university, I got a job back in my hometown, Mildura, working in the local hospital, and I kind of just stayed there for, I think it was 17 years in the end. So yeah, I loved working in the hospital. I loved everything about that career. And then I had kids, and I met my husband Murray in, I think it was 2011.
Yeah.
And, he's a tradie. So he started his business, and now I work the admin side of his business. So, yeah.
Lovely. And so, as far as the career that you had in health, how do you reckon that's kind of supported the work that you have or worked well alongside, or the skills that you developed in working in your tradie business, which we'll talk a bit about shortly?
Yeah, well, healthcare, I suppose, is very different to trades life and trades. Well, it's different and it's the same. It can be the same. So I guess in healthcare, it's very corporate. It's very like everything's documented. There's processes and like checklists for everything. Everything is repeatable. Everybody knows what's happening, where, when, and how. So it's very systematized like that.
Hmm.
Which I guess if you compare that to the trades world, um, often I think when you look at tradies, they're like it runs on memory, it relies on memory. Sometimes it's all up in their head. They're trying to do it all. And so I think coming from healthcare and having that systems background and knowing how effective that is, especially when you get into a team, I think that is very helpful. And then I guess with healthcare as well, it's fast paced. It's unpredictable. So I guess if you compare that to trades, the the tradies can go from 1 minute everything's just ticking along nicely, and then the next minute, the shit hits the fan and there's delays and schedules change. And so I have that kind of knowledge, or I've got that experience in how to, I guess, stay composed when things become chaotic and kind of work through things systematically to kind of
Absolutely.
restore calm, I guess.
Yeah.
So I think that serves me well.
Yeah, no, that's awesome. Not totally
Yeah.
agree. And I've just certainly recognized that in you when you were applying for the role here. It was, you've got a good ability to flex between that systematization and that real process focus alongside the people orientation and sort of managing the relationships and seeing what the people need at any given time. So that's a pretty cool thing. So tell us about your business that you run with Muzz. Give us a bit of indicator around what that's all about.
Yeah, so as I said, we're up in Northwest Victoria, and we run our business is Mildura Kitchens and Bathrooms. So it's a home renovations business. We do all sorts of renovations, mainly obviously kitchens and bathrooms. We started that prior to that, Murray was a cabinet maker, so he started out his career in cabinet making. Actually, he started in like bespoke solid timber furniture making sort of stuff. So, and then he moved into factory work as a cabinet maker. That kind of evolved into he started doing kitchen like installs, and then he started retraining, and he became a carpenter. And then that's kind of how we moved into. So then he started doing like small handyman sort of stuff, and he worked. So he was a sole trader for a few years. And then, in 2021, I think it was early 2021, his business had taken off, and he was being asked to do bigger jobs. And so that's when we started Mildura Kitchens and Bathrooms. And so now we do, lots of bathroom and kitchen renovations. But interestingly, now it's kind of evolving, and we're getting lots of like larger scale jobs and lots of full home renos, which is exciting. So, yeah.
Excellent. And so how's that experience, I guess, set you up for your role as a Ladies with Tradies coach? Like how has it helped you sort of having been on the other side?
Yeah, well, I guess one thing to know about me is that I was a client of Ladies With Tradies before I became a coach. So when Murray started in his business and things kind of took off and he was a one-man show, and I was working in healthcare, he hit the ground running and started, he got so busy that he hit the ceiling of what he could do on his own as a tradie, and he was crying out for help. So I came across and helped him. And that was like fish out of water, like jumping from healthcare into trade. Like, I didn't speak the language of trade. I knew nothing about financials. I think I've said this story before. I remember when one of the coaches reached out to me when I first started, and she was like, "What are you?" No, she said, "What was the question?" Oh, so what's your annual revenue or something like that? And I was like, "Dude, I don't know what you're talking about. I don't speak the language. I've no idea. I don't even have the password to get into the computer. Like, I don't know anything about trades, the business, nothing." So it was just, I guess, knowing what it's like to start from scratch, to have to learn as you go, to know that it's okay to reach out for support. Actually, I encourage it, because like that was the real turning point for us. And yeah, just the fact that I've sort of evolved from start to where I am now and what I know about business. I think that I can relate to the clients because I've been there. Yeah.
Yeah, and that's a big part of what, when I'm calling people out there and having conversations about why ladies with tradies and why now, it's often about the relatability, because it's like, well, you're just us, whoever's on
Yeah.
the other side of the phone, and that's something that we want to keep grounded in. And one of the big reasons why, coincidentally, pretty much most of our team are ex-clients, because you've been through what we put the people out there through. And you would have heard me say a billion times, Candice, we don't do to them what we haven't been prepared to put ourselves through.
Yeah, that's right.
So, there's a lot to be said for that experiential learning and then sharing that learning with others, which you do super well. So it's
Well, it just brings
pretty
that
cool.
human element into it, doesn't it? Like you can know what you know about business,
Mhm.
but if you can relate on a human level,
Yeah,
um,
makes a big difference. Yeah.
yeah.
Yeah. And so, what was it about coaching that made you want to become a coach?
Well, I mean, as I said, healthcare was my thing. That was I thought I was going to do that forever. So coming into coaching, um, if you asked me 10 years ago, like, where would you be now? I'm like, I wouldn't, no way would I say, oh, I'm working in my husband's business and I'm coaching. Like that just was never on my radar at all. So I kind of didn't know what I wanted to do when I found coaching. I was in a unique position where, um, so I had left my career. I had come in to help Murray in the business, but it's not I love our business and I will always want to be a part of it. Um, but it was just kind of not filling my cup in a way. And I went through a bit of a period where I had some extra time on my hands and I knew I wanted to do something, but I didn't know what it was. Um, and that's a really, like, when I think about that, it was a really confusing time and I was very like confronted by it. Like, it was kind of like, well, shit, what do I do now situation.
Mm.
Um, and so I kind of just started going, oh, well, fuck it. I'm just going to put myself out there and just try new things and step out of my comfort zone and try and work out what it is that I want to do. And so I was doing stuff like I started if like a pamphlet came out to volunteer for parents club at school, so I did that. Okay, that'll be a way I can meet new people, or I'll join local networking groups, and like, so I was just doing anything I could just to kind of put myself out there and see what kind of landed in my lap. And then a friend of mine was coaching in the wellness space, and that kind of, I went, oh geez, she's doing, like, I really like what she's doing. It's funny because I had been a client, so I knew about coaching, but it hadn't really crossed my radar.
Mm.
Um, but then I was kind of, when I thought about it, I'm like, well, I'm looking for a challenge.
Yeah.
I'm looking for kind of a passion project. I'm looking for something where I can give back. I'm looking for something where um, it was just all of the things kind of lined up. And then so I thought, okay, like, it's always been my thing in life that if there's something that you want to do, surround yourself with people who are doing the thing that you want to do. So I thought, okay, let's reach out to everybody who is in the coaching space and just ask them questions. So I reached out to yourself. I reached out to a couple of other people. I reached out to my friend who was coaching, and I started to think, oh, this is kind of cool. So then I started doing some training, and yeah, and then the rest is history. The job came up at Ladies With Tradies, and I thought, well, I don't know if this is for me. I feel like it might be. I'm just going to grab this opportunity and run with it. And yeah, and it's been awesome.
Yeah, and it's I remember when you were starting to put yourself out there, and I always get pretty fangirl when people are doing that kind of thing, and like, yeah, I love what you're doing, keep going, and when you were doing that sort of stuff and asking good questions about what's it all about, and that's one of the things that I love, kind of watching people and how they are and what the reasons behind why they're doing what they're doing, and that hearing you talking about I just want to help people really is the as the core of what it is. That is also a challenge alongside of it. I'm like, yeah, this is cool. I can't wait to see what happens next. So it's pretty
Yeah.
cool. I love how it all works out. So that's excellent. And tell me, since becoming a coach, what's been your favorite parts of being a coach?
Quick pause. If you're listening to this thinking, shit, that's us, and you're still not doing anything, why? Another year of long hours, cash stress, and not being on the same page? Thinking about change is not change, mate. Decisions are. A what to fix first call is where we identify one thing choking your profits, your time, and your marriage, and we fix that first. If you're invoicing 10K a week as a tradie business and you want 5 p.m. knockoffs together and another 100K in your pocket, book it. The link's in the show notes. Otherwise, stop faffing about, listening to this stuff and doing nothing. Back to the episode.
Oh my gosh, what's my favorite part of becoming a well, it's been challenging, which is good because that's what I wanted, something that was going to challenge me. Um, I think,
How has it challenged you? How?
well, it surprised me how much being a coach, like, it's about the clients, like,
Of course, yeah.
but like, holy shit, you learn so much about yourself when you become a coach, and like the personal development that comes with it is like massive. Like you don't realize how much you need to work on yourself to be able to, I don't know whether work on others is the right term,
Yep.
but you get what I mean. Like, it starts with you, which was surprising to me. Yeah. So I'd always kind of liked personal development anyway, but yeah, this is like personal development on steroids. So
Yeah.
yeah. So yeah, yeah. And then
Well,
I think, yeah, if you say what's my favorite part of coaching so far, um, it's not really coaching, but it's more the community has come from like that has come from Ladies With Tradies. Like I love sitting back and watching how everybody in the community interacts, and like I think you say it a lot, like your vibe attracts your tribe, and it's like it is a tribe of like pretty vibey people
yeah.
who like everybody just kind of scoops each other up and says, come sit by me. I'll like, we've got you. We'll sort this out. Like, it's cool. Yeah.
Love it. That's so cool. And what about the areas of coaching? What do you love getting stuck into the most with the clients?
um, well, what do I like getting stuck into the most? I think if I think about it, like, I actually really enjoy the goal setting side of things. Hearing like what people's aspirations are and what their dreams are and what they want their life to be, and then being able to go, okay, well shit, how do we like work backwards from there and make this shit happen for you? Like, how do we break this down into small chunks and just start putting one foot in front of the other to get there? Like, I get right into the goal setting side of things. I guess, what else do I like about I mean, I love the numbers, like, because you can't argue with the numbers, can you? Like once you get into the numbers and you take the emotion out of it all, it kind of just settles everything, and it's like, well, it's sitting there in front of you, black and white. What's going on in your business? Like, let's
Yeah. Yeah.
or
You
do
can keep
something about
telling me that you can't do this and you can't do that, but if you don't, what's the
it.
result?
Yeah, that's right. Yeah, yeah. Just try and argue with those numbers on the screen with me, like.
So true. And I guess, I see you very much that systems translation come in as well. It's like, how do we make the outcome you're trying to achieve in business fit with, like, create a structure that aligns with who you are as a person. I think you do that well too.
Yeah.
Yeah, get into that system stuff. And so what's been what sort of highlight moments have you had, or what results have people had that you're like, oh my God, this is amazing?
Highlights. Well, I mean, I haven't been in the game that long, so, but I still have had some highlights. I guess I think when I think about highlights, it's actually more like the really little things, um, like, I don't know, have you ever sat on a call and you just kind of see when you see that sort of shift, like, I don't know, it might be like where the client just takes a big exhale and you're like, they've been holding on to that breath for so long. Or like their shoulders drop and they're like, oh, like this makes sense. Um, or like when they come back and they go, oh, like, we just can't believe where we're at now. Like we thought that we were going to have to close the doors, or we thought that, like, we never thought that this was possible for us, like, and you just go, oh, like, I love that. Yeah, that the confidence that brings. And I think when you've been in that position and that, like, the tension that you can hold, and that, like, and how good that exhale is, like, yeah, I think that's my favorite part. And then also when you start to see the business side of things filtering into personal life, like, because that's why we're all doing it. And then you're like, oh, like, yes, this is like, what a turnaround, what a breakthrough. Yeah.
Yeah, I love that. So good. And so is that a bit of what your hope is for your clients, is that they feel like a relief, or to build that confidence? Like, what is it for you that you hope for them when you meet them?
Yeah. Yeah. To find some peace. Yeah.
Mm.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. Whatever that looks like, because
Whatever it looks like for them. Yeah.
yeah, yeah. And, I think we joke a lot, you and I, around the big swings between the types of personalities in that we get to coach, because there's such a big, like a broad spectrum of, uh, you know, colorful, amazing, incredible people that we get to work with. And we're always laughing, like, you'll go, oh, I work with this client and they're like this. And then I go to that client and they're like that. And it's like, oh my God, what a head spin, because you can never be the same version of yourself as the coach.
No, that's right. And that's a challenge. Like,
Yeah.
um, like like you always say, we're dealing with human beings. Like, there's no one size fits all approach. Everybody's different. Everything lands differently with different personalities. And like over here, we might be like chaos, freaking drama. And then over here, we might be a little bit too steady and not, like, or it's just,
Yeah.
it's like a washing machine sometimes, but
Yeah.
yeah. And like you said, you have to show up as a different person,
Yeah.
still yourself, but like as a different person for different people. Like,
Yeah. And
and you
always
do that in your personal life too, I guess, don't you?
yeah,
Like,
yeah, meet them where they're at, for sure.
yeah.
What do you think the biggest challenge that the ladies have in business, working with the tradies or working in their businesses? What is their biggest challenge, do you reckon?
I guess if I just draw from my own experiences as a lady with tradie,
Yeah.
I guess it's the challenge of coming, for me, coming into a business that you know nothing about. A lot of times the ladies come in, they see their tradie needs help and they're coming in, but you don't know what you don't know, and you're just trying to kind of learn it, and there's no, like, you just want the confidence to know that you're doing the right thing, or like,
Yeah.
so I think that's a big thing, is just feeling like a fish out of water in this new environment, and trying to find your feet is a struggle, I guess.
Yeah.
And then I think, I mean, don't get me wrong, some girls are very good at communication, but I think communication can be a bit of a downfall in business, like the dynamic between you and your husband in business, and how do I, like, your husband's right there in it, and sometimes you have a bit more of a zoomed out approach and you can see a bit more, but trying to communicate what you're seeing to your partner where it lands in a way that they can receive it takes a lot of, well, some people, are great at that. But yeah, communication can be a struggle.
Yeah, for sure. And it's, that for the blokes, it's does it land feeling like criticism or control, or closing them or shutting them down, whether it be with saying no, you're wrong, or just not giving them anything. And but on the other side of the coin, it's the ladies often feeling unheard and unseen and unappreciated for what they're contributing. So it's definitely a tough one. So, and what about with the tradies, Candice? What do you think's their key challenge that you've seen or experienced?
I think probably, when they get into that, like, we always call it the hamster wheel situation, where they're like just going a million miles an hour. And if I just work harder, if I just do more work, if I just do this, and then trying to wheel that back and slow down to speed up, and and like, it seems kind of counterintuitive to them when you kind of say things like that, like, you slow down to speed up, or you don't need to do more work, we just need to find the right work, or and they hear these different ways of doing things, and it's uncomfortable, and it's scary, and or that, like, well, I don't have time to even slow down and think about that, like,
and so often it's more about doing a lot less but making a lot more money, and that just doesn't compute often, does it?
No.
There's a few fellas at the moment that they're feeling like everything is dire because they're doing so much less work, but their numbers are looking better than they've ever seen them, and they're turning up on the screen going, oh, it's just like, there's not enough work and there's not enough this, and you look at the numbers and you're going, where are you getting this from? And it's the feeling of,
it feels uncomfortable.
It's like, but I'm not doing enough, so that means there isn't enough. Like this whole scarce, I have to be killing myself to be.
I have to be busy.
Really, it's so hard to watch. Like, Darl, you're talking to me like the world's going to end, but mate, look at the money that you're making now for doing a lot less work and with a lot less resource. Like,
and look at the time you've got back. Look at the
you did 3 school pickups this week. Geez, it's terrible.
Yes.
No, that's good. And what about so you talked about challenge with coaching for you earlier, like what, and that personal development on steroids is a big part of it. What are you, like, sitting in it with them, find most challenging?
Quick one before we get back into it. If you're running a tradie business together and it's starting to feel a bit tense, like you're both working real hard but not really on the same page anymore, money convos are a bit clunky, or you're avoiding them altogether and you feel more like business partners than a couple, you need to come to the money junket. because you're going to get clear on your numbers and where you're actually going, and even better, reconnect. Because when you're aligned, it all gets easier, guys. Spots are limited, so if this is hitting, don't sit on it. Jump in the show notes and grab your spot. Let's get you guys back on the same page.
Yeah, trying not to sit in it with them.
Yeah.
Because I guess there's power in that zoomed out lens and that different perspective that you bring to the table. So, and there's clarity in that. So you don't want to get too far down into it with them.
Yeah.
And then also there's the challenge between like you want to support your clients, but you also want to hold them accountable.
Yeah.
Because that's what they're paying you for ultimately is results and accountability. So where is that line between too hard and too soft? Yeah, I think that, and it's different with every client, and it's different with every couple. So you might have two clients on the screen again, like, so that's a whole nother layer to it, because then you're dealing with this personality and this personality, and like, where's the line there as well? And it's just, again, what we were talking about, that human element, that everybody's different and everybody's motivations are different, everybody's behaviors are different, like
And I think it's a good point that you make. We work so closely with couples in business, and we don't shy away from the dynamics that are challenging in front of us on the screen. And it's, in fact, if we see it, we name it. It's like, why have you got shit on the liver with him today? Or why does it feel like I could cut the fucking tension in your room on the other side of the screen with a knife? Like, I can feel it in my body and I'm 2,000 kilometers away from you. Like, what's going on here, guys? So that dynamic within the couple on its own, because often opposites attract, like not always, but often when it comes to Ladies with Tradies. And then, we've got our own dynamic that comes into that mix. That this is where we use personality profiles almost obsessively, I would say, in our business, which Candice, you and we love talking about that, you and I, because it's a bit of a passion. So it's that, how do you navigate that too hard, too soft, that personality versus mine, because it's a triangulated relationship.
right.
And sometimes we're the mediator, sometimes we're the relationship, we're the person that's communicating to people what the other's trying to express, but doing a fucking shit job of it.
It's like, how do they need me to show up for them today?
That's right.
Even if it's uncomfortable for me, like, if I know that that's what they need,
that's it.
You have to show up for them the way they need you to.
And there's times, like, we don't always get that right, and because we're human too in this, and sometimes I'll be like, well, I'm going to say this, and it's almost like asking permission. And my clients, like, I've only got a few of them, but it's funny, isn't it? Because you get to a point with them where you go, oh, I'm at that line with these people where I actually love them so much. Like, these are people that I just want to sit down and chill with. And I had an ex-client say to me the other week, I just don't get how you can be friends with people that pay you. I'm like, oh, but isn't that what everybody wants? Like, imagine going to work every day and hanging out with people that you
love.
And I just, as a sideline, you're making money. Yeah, it is weird to compute, and I still think that all the time. I'm like, how do I get to do this? And I'm sure you feel the same. It's like, we're in a privileged position, I guess, is what I'm saying.
Absolutely. And you don't take that for granted. Yeah.
So in that, Candice, tell me what coaching for you looks like moving forward, or like what can people expect when they show up on a screen when I've said Candice is perfect for you? What can they expect when they roll into your room?
Well, I guess I'm fun. I try to be fun. I'm understanding. I'm compassionate. I um I I don't know. This is such a hard question. Who what can they expect?
What sort of coach are they getting?
They're getting a coach who will push you to I'll push you out of your comfort zone. I'm not going to allow you just to coast.
Yeah.
I just want the best for you, and I want results for you, whatever your results are. Yeah.
Yeah. And I think, you love getting people to where they've said that they want to be and reflecting on that, because sometimes what happens when people come in, they'll tell us what they want for themselves, but then they'll get into this mindset of, but this is what I should be aiming for, or I should be whatever. And I think you're very good at grounding people back to what they actually want, and then creating a system alongside them, and the structure that supports that, which is often very different to the way that they thought that it was going to be.
Yeah. It's like I'm a little confused because you said you wanted this.
That's right. Yeah.
But that's not what I'm seeing, or that's not what what
Yeah.
I'm
Call
seeing.
them out on their contradictions.
Yeah. Yes. Yeah.
Which is, which, like, again, that's that great blend of, you being so structured but also so human, and that's one of the many traits that I admire and am inspired by with you as a coach, Candice. So love it.
Thanks.
So any last pearls of wisdom for people who are out there listening going, oh yeah, this coaching thing, like,
look, just if you're listening and you feel like you need support, like, just dive in. You won't be disappointed. I think, I don't know, I'll go into a really quick little story here. I grew up playing basketball, and I have this like vivid memory of a coach of mine who said, like, he taught me about success, and I was probably only 14, and he said, like, there's 3 elements that you need for success. You must have talent, and that's like God-given. No one can give it to you, no one can teach you. So if you've got a talent for something, you have to have skills, and you get those skills from coaches and surrounding yourself around people who, can teach you the things you need to know. And that, I think that's the big thing about coaching is, like, it's just get that element of skill. And then attitude. Like, we can't, if you're going to come into coaching, no one can give you the right attitude but you. We can kind of say, a positive mindset, or an abundance. Yeah. But ultimately, if you're coming into coaching, it's that attitude is what you can bring. Bring the right attitude, and then you've got the 3 elements for success. So
I love that. I think we needed a little a power pass session on that. So it's I think, the tradies have the talent, and the ladies are willing to seek it out. So, the fellas who end up on our screens and their beautiful wives or partners, they've got the talent in spades. They wouldn't be coming to people like us, and it wouldn't have even crossed their minds to interact with businesses like ours if they weren't already talented, because their talent will get them from here to there. And then it's like, but what got you from here to there? won't get you out to the next place, and that's where that skill comes in. And but you can't get from where you are now to where or you might not even have a vision for where you could get if the attitude isn't there.
Right. That's right.
Bloody gold, mate. Thanks so much. People can pop that in their top pocket, I reckon. I'm gonna. So, Candice, you're an absolute freaking delight. And we are rapt that you're on our team, and the clients who work with you absolutely love you to bits. And, it's been amazing so far seeing your growth and who you have become, and who you already were, because you had all those three things. That's why, I was like, we've got to have Candy Ray on the team. She's great. So, really, really admire, love and respect what you do, not just for Ladies with Tradies, but also the clients. So thanks for picking us. And, I look forward to seeing what's coming into the future. Thanks for being on here today.
No worries. Thanks for having me.
Good on you, mate. We'll talk soon. Bye.